Hey guys, Sure Shot Midget here. So I'm going to be doing a video on a friend's airsoft gun that I upgraded. So I was actually unaware of what internals were in this, so I haven't been doing much airsoft stuff for a while. So I got this about 2 or 3 years ago. It is OEM S&T. Now this one I thought was more Lancer Tactical, but it ended up being an S&T as well. And you can tell by the gearbox if you pull the upper off. I didn't pull the upper off, I thought it was Lancer Tactical, just based off of the hop up. So these both use the red, looks like a Pro One hop up. You can see it there. And the same one in here. And I'll tell you what, S&T definitely has stepped up their game since, well, they came out with these. I also wasn't aware that it was an S&T because it doesn't have the clicky MOSFET. So this one has, I don't know, I assume maybe they're Gen 1. I don't know if they make these. They're different MOSFETs in these guns, but everything else is the same. This one here clicks. The trigger clicks. Now, I shortened the trigger pull on this one, but the trigger clicks. It's more like a BTC, like a Spectre Mark II. Micro switch, and this one has more of a like Mark 1 micro switch. So when you pull the trigger on this, it's a lot lighter. In fact, I thought it was broken until I pulled it apart and saw the MOSFET. It feels like the spring like broke for the a regular trigger trolley, like the regular trigger contacts, because there's no click whatsoever. Now I didn't shorten the trigger pull on this. I just maintained it so the safety still works. Safety doesn't work on that one anymore. So basically, it's just a different generation. They are similar pricing. This one, I believe, is about $180, $200 for the 14.5 carbine. And then this was the, 10-inch or so. I believe this was $160 when I got it. I've been pretty impressed with this. I changed a couple things on the inside, kind of similar to what I did with this one. Now you are limited to what you can do because it uses the magnet on the sector gear, like the Aries. Now it uses actually a different method, really weird. So on this one, it has the magnet on top of the sector gear, and there's like a piece on the gearbox shell that detects like the magnet from the top portion when you pull the shell off. This one detects it on the bottom of the sector. So they're different sectors. It's not like you could switch them because it uses a really small magnet on this one and a bigger magnet on this one. Magnets on the top, magnets on the bottom on this one. So it's really weird. They just changed it around. So it's almost like one of those optical MOSFETs where on the bottom of the MOSFET is where it actually detects where the gear's at. That is where the magnet is placed on this one. So I don't know if they're making both of these currently or if they phased the first one out and are just doing these now. I have a zero clue. No idea. Now, I don't think these are programmable in any way whatsoever, which is totally fine. They're just wired to Tamiya, which it would be nice if they were wired to Dean's. That would be a plus for sure. They seem pretty good. This one, again, I've had for a couple years. I went and played with it twice. It's mainly stock. I just have like a JG Blue in there, SHS 16-1 spur and bevel, and that's pretty much it. They come with metal rack pistons. I believe I have the stock piston in here in mine. So we'll just go over the externals real quick because there's not much on here. Start from the back. It does have a crane stock, like 5-6 position. It does have a plastic buffer tube, and so does the other one. So kind of a cheap buffer tube. I wish that was metal. It's not that expensive to make, put a metal one on there. So be careful with this. Don't go dropping it. If you drop it straight on the buffer tube, it will crack the buffer tube, I'm sure. Standard pistol grip. The receiver is plastic. It's pretty nice though. It's like a polymer. It really feels like a legit polymer. It feels better than kind of like the G&G receivers, but it feels better than some of those plastic ABS type crap. It's got, kind of a matte finish to it, so it's kind of, it looks good. It looks good. It's not glossy. This one has the Colt trademarks, which is pretty cool. It came in a Colt box. Again, I think this is about $180, $200, so you're spending a little extra for the logos. This one here is what, the Moen Abe? I don't know, I'm totally mispronouncing that. And then what's pretty cool, there's an American flag on the other side. So pretty cool that they're doing different logos. And this is just 2 of them. They have like 10 to 15 versions of these guns. Again, I don't know if they phased this MOSFET out and are doing this for now on, or if they just have 2 different versions. I have no idea. They're both nice. Personally, I wish they would make both of them. I really don't think one is so better than the other that they should stop manufacturing them. I like the clicky MOSFET, and this one that clicks seems to have less of a rate of fire cap. I can sit there and spam it faster than this one. Now, I don't have much time behind this gun, and the trigger pull is standard, where this one is shortened, but it seems like this might have more of a trigger delay, and the trigger's just a little more sloppy. But they're both good, especially for the price. These are so much better than G&G guns. Those G&G MOSFETs are absolute trash. These, you can fit a battery in the buffer tube because there's no external board sitting in the buffer tube like the G&Gs. Those always break. Standard selector switch, bolt lock doesn't function. Charging handle does have a little extension on it, which is pretty dope. The other one has it as well, literally the same charging handle. The receivers feel the exact same, so they're coming from the same factory. Again, that rotary style hop-up, which is awesome again. Now on the front here, you have like the CAC rail system. This is all plastic. In my opinion, I don't care for this sort of deal. I like the like a key mod is what this is, or M-lock. Now this is key mod, and it is metal. This rail is metal. Whereas the other one's plastic. So I'd rather go with something like a free-floated system and do away with this crappy front sight. And this wobbles a little bit. It's just kind of how these are. That's my personal opinion. This is based off of, well, like a Colt M4 that the U.S. military uses. Very similar with the front sight tower and everything. So plastic, does have rail covers on the sides and a vertical grip on the bottom. If I'm not mistaken, it comes with these, I'm pretty sure. That's pretty cool, pretty good setup there. Metal front sight, metal barrel, no markings on it at all. And then the orange tip. I may try to paint this for my friend, unless he has black paint. All you gotta do is just kind of cover up this portion with some tape, and then you're good to go. Maybe, probably pull the inner barrel out, just so you don't accidentally get paint on the front of it, because I do see it goes all the way to the end. So probably take the upper off and pull the inner barrel out and then paint it black, because if you're playing airsoft with an orange tip, you're doing it wrong. Put it on here, my friend. It's a holographic of some sort. It looks like it's a CR123A. I've got some of those. Seems pretty decent. Kind of a cheaper optic. I probably wouldn't pay over 40 bucks for something like that. But it's on there. I don't know how much he paid for it, and it seems to work decently. So for the internals, the parts that I used the stock hop-up barrel and bucking. It is a brass barrel. I think they advertised 603, which is pretty good, honestly. The gearbox, I used a SHS motor, high torque, brand new, like 16 TPA, great motors, good balance. I did use a SHS spur and bevel gear. They are made of a lot better metal than the stock gears. They're thicker teeth, and they're CNC'd steel, heat-treated steel, so much better quality. It is using bushings on the sector and the spur, but it is using bearings on the bevel. Since this isn't a high rate of fire gun, I just kept those. Typically, I don't like bearings because I've had them blow, but 30, 35, 40, 50 RPS DSGs and SSGs, they've broken pretty bad, blown pretty bad. Even like a Crytax, like good quality bearings I've had blow. The only ones I trust are like the ceramic, what's that brand? The ceramic ball bearings. Shoot, it's on the tip of my tongue. I'm forgetting it. I have those in my DSG, and they've lasted for years. The piston, I did switch out for an SHS pre-lightened piston, so it's got all the Swiss cheese holes, AOE corrected. I just ditched the stock piston. The teeth are not as strong for sure. I've definitely had the teeth wear down. I think I have the stock piston on this one, I think. And it's worked just fine, but none of these are high rate of fire. So I did just switch the SHS. My friend had purchased it, pre-lightened piston. I also used a Lonex aluminum piston head and Lonex aluminum cylinder head with the stock nozzle because it was a little longer than my Lonex nozzle I had for it. So I was like, we'll just use the stock one because I don't want a shorter one. because then I would run into all sorts of problems. And everything else is stock other than that. Stock tappet plate. It does have the sector chip on the sector gear that came on there. And it feeds just great, shoots fine. I also used a SP110 spring by Garter. I've used 3 of those like in the past couple months, and they shoot pretty hot. So SP110 is more like an M115 rating because the SP rating is hotter than the M rating. Those of you that are techs will know that. So FPS out of this 14.5 is 400. Like when I chronoed it, I did adjust the hop up for 2.5s, and it was shooting 400, 405 with a 0.2. Now, he's going to use 2.5s. This is an outdoor gun. Good length, too. It's not too long, not too short. It's a carbine, so it's a mid-length gun. So perfect for outdoor shooting 400. Again, that is a brand new spring, so it shouldn't go down below 390. I would not imagine. Break-in is normally 5-10 FPS, so probably 395, maybe 390 is where it'll hover at. This also has a quick change spring system, so you can pull the buffer tube off. You don't even have to pull the gearbox out of the receiver. That is a proper quick change. So 400 FPS, if he really wants. I did throw the stock spring away. The stock springs are kind of trash, like 370 FPS or so, maybe 380. They're just really short and just not good in my opinion. But he could put a CQB spring in there if he wants. Probably wouldn't. He has a Scorpion Evo that is an indoor gun. All right, so first magazine out of this will be a Vietnam-style mid-cap with .25s. I have not tried mid-caps with this yet. Wow, fed just great. All right, we'll do another one of these mid caps. Actually kind of surprised how well it fed. So I should have chronoed this before I shot those mid caps, but as you see there, 348. It's kind of an average shot, 1.41 joules. The highest will be 1.45. The lowest may be closer to 1.35. I'll shoot a couple more shots through here. 1.42 joules, 349, 345, 345, 344, 347. 1.4. So 1.4 is a safe average for it. So I'd say it's good out to 180, 200 feet. So the semi-auto is pretty crisp, but I don't think I can spam it. I think it caps out. Is shooting 23 RPS on full auto, which is like a stock Crytek, so pretty good. All right, so let's get some range up in here. These are 2.5s. It is really windy out here too. That's easily 200 feet. All right, well, that's it for this gun. Pretty good budget build. Really didn't cost that much. I mean, just think about it. New cylinder, new piston head, motor, gears, and that's literally it.